This is my second video on headers and footers. We're picking up from the previous one. In the last video, we learned how to insert some things up here in the header, and the easy way to get up there is to double-click. The way to get out is to double-click outside of the header or footer. So let's go back up here, and I'm just going to start fresh here. I'm going to delete all the stuff that's there because obviously we don't want that in a real header. And because I'm in the header and footer tools comes up, and we've got a list of things that we can do in the header and the footer. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of things. We've got some icons here that are for some commonly used things, and then the rest of it is just something you can play around with on your own. This is not a big deal. This is just positioning it. We will talk about the stuff in here though. And pictures are discussed in some other videos. So let's say that you want to put your name on every page. So I'm just going to put my name up here, and all you got to do is type it in, and it will appear on every page. And then let's tab over once, and it'll take us under the center tab stop here. So whatever we do now will be centered. And I'm going to put in, let's go to date and time here, and we get a bunch of choices for different formats of the date and time, and I'm just going to pick the very first one here. You can pick anything you want to. And one thing about this checkbox down here, if this checkbox is turned on, then if I open it tomorrow, right now it is March 22nd, and that's what we'll show here in a minute. But if I have this turned on, when I come in tomorrow, it will say March 23rd and so on. So it automatically reflect the date that the document was last opened. And that's useful if you're going to make a hard copy of this and you'd like to know how current the hard copy is. Then the date that it was printed will always be on the hard copy. So I'm going to leave that turned on. If you turn that off, it will just say March 22nd, 2020 forever. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. Let's click on OK here, and it should put in the current date. Now let's go down to the footer. There are a couple of ways to get to the footer. One is just to scroll down and double click in the footer, but they also put a button up here, and if I click on go to footer, it'll take me down to the footer, and then that gets grayed out, and the button for going to the header gets turned on. Okay, so now that we're down in the footer, let's insert page numbers, and I'm going to put those in the center of the document. So let's tab over, and for page number we can click up here, and it gives you these choices, but I always go where I want to put the footer or the page number first, and then I click on current position and just do plain number. And it's giving me page number 0. And the reason it's doing that is because this is the first page header and footer. You may have noticed when up on the top it said first page header. Down here it says first page footer. So this is only actually going to occur on the first page. And if I scroll down just a little bit further here, you'll see this just says header. So this is the header for the rest of the document. And if you scroll down to the bottom of that page, that'd be the footer for the rest of the document. So the reason that that's an option in Word is sometimes you want to have a title page or a cover page, and you may not want to have everything on the title page that you have on the other pages. Okay, so what I'm putting here is not going to carry over. You notice the header and the footer down here are blank. However, this is not a header page or a title page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here, and in my header and footer tools, I'm going to choose different first page, and I'm going to turn that off. It was turned on apparently from the last time that I was here, and I'm going to turn that off. And now whatever I had in the footer down below gets pulled up, and unfortunately if I scroll back up here, it replaces what I had up on the top as well. So check this before you start. If you got a cover page, you're probably going to want to do something different on the cover page. If not, you want to leave that turned off. Okay, so let's go down to the footer now, and let's put some things in here. Let's tab over, and I'm going to insert my page number, and we'll go to current position and just a plain number, and it is still doing page 0 for me, and we'll fix that in a minute or two. And then I'm going to put of, and then I want to put in the number of pages, and that's going to be under quick parts here, and it's going to be under fields. And if we go down here to the letter P, we should see page, and that's what I've got. That'll put the page number in for you. And right above it a little bit here is number of pages. And if I double click on that, it'll put the number of pages that are in my document right here. Another thing you might want to put in the document just for your own personal benefit, and this again applies mostly if you're going to be printing a hard copy of it. There is, under quick parts here, we have a field, and one of the options here is file name. And you got some options for the case of the file name, and you've also got an option here to add a path to the file name, and that will show you the sequence of folders that you have to go through to get to it. My sequence of folders for this particular document is kind of long. I'm not going to turn that on. I'm just going to click on OK. And so this is the actual file name of the document. Notice when you click on it, it all turns gray to indicate that this is something that was put in by Word, that was filled in by Word actually, not by you. So if you click on things like that and they all turn gray, that's an indication that Word put it in, not you. This would only be useful to you yourself if you had a hard copy of the document and you wanted to be able to remember what the name of that document was, so you go back and edit it later on. Otherwise, this is something you probably would not put into your document. Now let's take a look at, we got a little problem here with our page numbering. I'm going to drag the mouse over that, and we're going to go up to our page number button up here, and we have an option here to format page numbers, and I'm going to choose that, and I get this small dialog box. And you've got some options for number formatting, which you can play with, but they're not really a big deal. But you've got some options down here. If your documents divide up into sections, which we also haven't talked about yet, you could do that. But here it gives us a starting number. And normally this would be 0 or would be 1 instead of 0, but I think that I must have played with this document previously and told it to start at 0. But that's fine because now we know how to go in and fix it. Just change that to a 1. You could also type it in, click on OK. And now this is page number 1 of a 46-page document. So remember, if you want a different first page, to turn this on. If you want all the pages to be numbered and have the same headers and footers, turn that off. This would be if you were printing front and back and you want to have, the left side of a page be different from the right side of a page if you're going to put the pages together in a book format. So if you're just doing a term paper, which is probably what most of you are going to be doing, you would probably not be doing front and back, so that's probably not going to be something to be concerned about. And that pretty much covers all of the important stuff that's up here on the header and footer ribbon.